So last night I started this random, just kind of hodgepodge of living room items. I looked up some images and pulled, just a record player, a couch, and these other elements, and just put them together from different images from my camera roll. And you can check out that live stream. It's actually the video right before here, but I also just drop it in the comments if you want to see my process for how I got here. Um, and it's the regulating my nervous system. I think that's, I think it's session 3. It's the most recent one. Um, but at the end of that video, I said I wanted to do some, I feel like I want to do some collage over here. Um, and so I want to kind of explore that a little bit. And I have a few ideas. So I also have this, like, I think this is called rice paper. It has like this texture on the inside um, of paper. And I was thinking that, okay, I was running through my mind really quickly about how I wanted to explain this. So I ended that video saying that I felt like I wanted to do some collage over here. And it is because something, like when I get ready to sit down sometimes, even if I have like a color palette in front of me, initially I said that I wanted to just explore some of the colors that I have around lichen green. This is like one of my favorite pencils, color pencils in the Derwent Color Soft. And so I have these other greens that are like muted. And so I wanted to incorporate that. And then up here, um, let's see, I don't want to move this, but up here, I also have like some little swatches for a color palette as well. And so even though I will have like a plan, when I sit down sometime, and it doesn't happen all the time, but I'm noticing it now, and that's kind of along the lines of the title of this video, like having grace to rework your ideas. Um, I'll sit down sometimes and I'll have a color palette idea. I'll have like, you know, because I'm a mixed media artist, I'll have like the different materials, the different mediums, that I want to use that are around the color palette. And I'll start, and then I come to a point where I feel like I freak out about what color to use. And I'm not sure what that is as of yet, but like I said, I'm still noticing that. Like, what is that? That hesitancy, even though I know what colors I want to use. And so, okay, that was a windy road into. I put these colors down. I ended yesterday's live, again, that's the process video to show you how I got to this point. But I ended that video saying that I want to do some collage over here. And so I want to start exploring that right now with this. I have this paper. I made a little bit of a stencil to cover up this part of the wall, and then these kind of paintings, if you will, abstract paintings that are in the scene. So I cut out a little stencil that goes right over these. So I'm thinking about that. That's the first idea, right? To have like these cutouts of this particular kind of paper just to cover up this part because I don't think that I like these colors now. And that's okay, right? And so my second idea, so I have to cover this up, I could either do it with this paper, but I also have this really nice pop of color. I think I could also cover this up and this up with this burnished copper matte acrylic by Blick. And I have this Molotov paint marker. This is like the really big chunky one that like folks that do graffiti and like wall art or like public art, outside art. This is like one of the paint markers that they use. This is a 15 mm size marker, but it's in this copper color as well. So I have a few ideas and I'm not really sure yet what I'm gonna do. I really like the idea of collaging and cutting out the stencils of this paper. I think that that would be very cool. But then I'm like, if I put this down, am I just gonna leave it like that, or will I put something else on top of it? But I think that it would be a very interesting, make this a little more visually interesting if I have this collage like texture paper on top. And though I really love this copper, and I think with the green and just these other colors, it would go really good too. Um, I think it goes really good with this color palette. So, as it relates to Grace about reworking your ideas, one of the mindset shifts that has been very helpful for me in um, me being along this path of creating, a sketchbook practice, and that's what the vibration of this mixed media starter kit series is around. I went back to my creative practice at the top of the pandemic, so 2020. I hadn't created any art for many, many years. And I started to create art again, started exhibiting again. And the one thing that I hadn't done though, I created this body of work around that time, from like 2020 to 2022. I created this body of work that I've been using to exhibit up until this year, well, last year. And November, December of 2024 is when I started to really be intentional about a creative practice, like a sketchbook practice, like a daily art practice, like not just creating like this series, like really rebuilding my relationship with my creative practice. And so, one of the mindset shifts that has been so helpful in like this process, this journey, has been looking at my marks, the things that I do in my creative practice, not as mistakes, right? As kind of jumping off points. And, you know, I paint and draw not realistic. My work is more expressive, it's more intuitive, it has rhythm to it, it has mood to it. And so um, because I create in that way, I feel like that gives more room for capacity for expansion, around what my practice can look like, what I want it to look like, what I won't allow myself to bring into my creative practice. And so, giving myself grace to rework my ideas is a part of that not looking at the things that I do in my creative practice as a mistake, but as a foundation, right? And so I wanted to come on and just process that a little bit out loud. I had that in my head because I'm like, okay, I started this. Now I have these other ideas about how I could build on it. And I'm like, this paper is translucent, like it would be interesting, to have uh, again just these collage pieces of paper, and then the background still kind of be seen a little bit, like you won't be able to clearly see it like this, but like you'll definitely still be able to see like these designs, and then that kind of matted mute pink, kind of popping through, and then you'll be able to see like the outline of the lamp, but not the colors and everything. So I just want to see what's going to happen, right? And that's a part of this mindset shift, right? Allowing yourself to see what's going to happen, And again, I have two, it really is three because even though these are the same colors, this paint is going to go down a lot different than um, this marker on here, and this Molotov marker is so juicy. I have to be very careful with it, even with opening the top. Like it's just a lot of liquid in here, and so I'm just thinking about that. I think I mentioned too that the other thing that I was wondering was like, if I decide to do the paper and I put this down, do I want to put something on top of this? Like continue to layer it. I almost want to do like a collage piece of a lamp now too. um, hmm. I kind of want to do a little stencil of this lamp now. So just like I am thinking this through, y'all are here with me. And again, across the first few videos, especially the ones where I talk about color, I offer this framework that I'm working through, and it's called the Discovery Spiral. And in those videos, I talk about the color discovery spiral, specifically around like thinking about color, thinking about what your palette is, because I share, I don't start from a place of the complementary colors related to color theory and things like that. I work more from the starting point of analogous colors, so colors that are along like right next to each other on the color wheel, like that's my jam more, and that's where I start. And so why did I start talking about that? I the discovery spiral. Okay, so that has been helpful in me like understanding color, right? And being more curious about analogous colors and like what the vibe of those are. I think you can kind of get a feel for that here a little bit. Which is kind of why I want to put the copper in, because I think that that would just help with tying in some of this. But the discovery spiral also applies to like even what y'all are listening, watching me process through related to what I want to do to rework this. And that is a part of the grace, right? Um, how do you get to the mindset of, oh, I just want to see what happens, right? Like that is the place, that is the offering for a place to start, and so that's, yeah, like that's what I've been thinking through related to this, like I said, this framework of a discovery spiral. Like, okay, you start one place. Like I said, I knew last night that I wanted to do something different over here. I just didn't know what. In my sleep, I was thinking about this, and I was cleaning up my papers because I have so many loose, like, just like drawings and things, and I'm like, okay, I need to try to like organize some of this stuff just a little bit better. And so I found this paper. Let me put my puppy up on the couch. Hold on, y'all. Come on, Pookie. Come on. Let's go up here on the couch. I know that's where you want to go. Finish my video. Thank you. Good girl. Okay. Here I come. Um, so we started, yeah, like last night I knew that I wanted to do something different over here. I didn't know what. I said collage. I was thinking about it in my sleep. Started cleaning up. Found this paper and I was like, "Oh my god, this would be so interesting as a texture like on this paper with these colors and everything." Um and then I remembered these copper things that I have. I also have, let's see. This is another part of the discovery spiral, just like thinking through what you have, what your options are. I also have this copper color pencil from Holbein. Um, let's see. Let me show y'all what this copper looks like. Yeah, I also have this copper Holbein color pencil, and this is OP 630. Um, because the majority of this is color pencil. Some of this is Kiritaki Gansai Tambi paint. That's what this is. This is highlighter and then color pencil on top. Oh, and then I put some neo color one, this pink, on top of some of these places. Um, and then the other thing too was, I have this color palette over here. I didn't put this purple anywhere on here yet. And I did put it up here. I could put the purple on the background as well. That is a really nice pop of color. And again, along this, in this color palette. So I don't have an answer right now. I started with two, now it's like five. Okay, five things I could potentially do. um, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful for, this moment, to be able to process this, for the space and the capacity to do that. I'm grateful that I have the tools, these different items that I can think through. Like, I'm grateful for all of that, right? And I think that this is maybe some of that aspect that I was mentioning about like rebuilding the relationship with my creative practice. Um, yeah, and this is what that means for me. This is what it kind of looks like. Um, I was gonna say something about the artist way. I am a critic of the artist way, but I know that many, it, and let me say it in this way. I'm a critic in the sense of there are, just some shortcomings that I think that I know. There's some shortcomings related to the artist way. But I know that a lot of folks resonate with it and identify with it. And there are aspects of it that I do too, like morning pages. I used to do morning pages. That was super helpful. I know a lot of folks talk about the artist date, and things like that. Like all of that's cool, you know. And I feel like there's something interesting about rebuilding, thinking about your creative practice as a relationship. I think about it in terms of conflict. Like for me, I was in conflict with my creative practice for many years, and the center of that was really grief. And I blocked myself from, just engaging in my creative practice. And so I've had to rebuild my relationship with my creative practice. And because that grief was rooted in conflict, that is the place that I had to look at. Like, what is my conflict style? And this is connected to some of my larger, other kind of work. But I mentioned that in relation to the artist's way to again still think about this piece around grace and being able to rework your pieces. And that starts with a mindset shift around what you consider a mistake, what's successful, what and maybe not even those words. Maybe it's words like artist rules. Like, I see so many people either on YouTube or TikTok kind of talk about like these parameters for how you should approach what you're doing. And that can be a barrier, that can be a conflict, right? Like maybe that's too tight, maybe you need more looseness, right? And so knowing what your conflict style is helpful even for your creative practice, because that's how I was approaching my creative practice from my conflict style. And that's more of like fight, and when I say conflicts, I'm talking about like trauma responses, like fight, flight, fawn, freeze, right? So, okay. Thank y'all for listening to me nerd out. I feel like I went down a whole rabbit hole and I still don't know what is getting ready to happen. Okay, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I need to sit and just think about it. Cause I don't know. I don't know what I want to do now. I feel like I have kind of, even though the purple is like right there, I had kind of forgotten about that as an option to just paint over. I find something very interesting about putting that pop of color on here, especially with this pink highlighter. Um, and then I just found my copper color pencil too. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Okay, I will come back on later. Um, Maybe I would have by then decided what I'm gonna do. We'll see where I'm at in the process. Um, I hope you come back. Please like the video. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being in this space with me. Um, yeah.